Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm Michaela Jaé, and you're listening to Main Pod Girl.
Hey, welcome to Main Pod Girl, a podcast made by Popheads for Popheads. Every episode, we'll be diving into all kinds of pop culture topics with some of our favorite artists and music commentators. I'm your host, AJ Marks. And today's special guest has starred in some of my favorite TV shows such as Pose, American Horror Story, and Loot, and had prominent roles in movies like Tick, Tick, Boom, and Transformers Rise of the Beasts. In 2021, she became the first transgender woman to be nominated for an Emmy in a major acting category, and in 2023, she was selected as the first trans ambassador for Charlotte Tilbury. Not only is she an accomplished film, television, and stage actress, but she's also a recording artist, and her debut album, 33, is now available everywhere. Say hello to Michaela Jaé Rodriguez.
Hello, and thank you for having me, AJ.
Thank you for coming on the show. Oh my gosh, clearly I am such a fan of all of your works, and I can't wait to start talking about those. But first, I thought we could start off with having a chat about what we've been watching recently, whether that's TV or movies. I'll set the tone. So I just finished watching season 4 of The Boys. That's one of my favorite shows right now. And then this Netflix show called, have you heard of it? Kevin Can Fuck Himself?
No, I don't think I've ever heard that one.
So that show, it's so funny. It's like half sitcom, live studio audience comedy, the typical like Friends setup. And Kevin is the husband in the couple, right? And every time he is on screen, it's in the sitcom-y sort of style. And then as soon as he is off screen, it becomes like a black comedy. And it's like really dark and it's kind of heavy and it's shot more like Dead to Me.
So you like dark comedy?
I do. I like a dark comedy. I like a comedy with stakes. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's an easy balance.
Exactly. So this one literally balances the two. And even the plot lines, it's not even just like the way they film it. It's even the plot lines are so geared towards those genres.
I love it when there's shows like that too. Like when the contrast is so wild, you're like, wait, what just happened? Because we were just here a second ago.
Yes. Yeah. You're like, hold on. And then you only realize slowly over time that it's only when Kevin is on screen.
Right. Well, I can chime in on that kind of like humor that's in it, just a small hint of humor, but the majority of it being dark.
Yes.
Is Monsters. I've been getting into that and oh, you have? I haven't gotten completely through everything just yet because I've been obviously, running around like a chicken with her hair cut off. I've also been going back to, oh God, I'm such an anime girl, Witches Academia.
Yes.
So Witches Academia is like about this girl. I can't remember her name, the main character's name, but she's not like fully a witch yet. And every witch that's at the school academy is like, they're all developed and they all have their powers. And she goes in and she's like, she's not close to where she thinks she is as far as being a witch, but it's so hilarious because she's like, she finds her crew, she finds her core crew through the people who are different, obviously. And like they create this cute little 3-girl like group that take on adventures together. And like she finds her hope, she finds her power. And it just so happens it's not the technical kind of like, the traditional witch. It's like a technical kind of witch. And it's really cute. It's so cute. I could name a whole bunch of other things that I'm watching too, but I don't want to, keep going.
I like that everyone has different lore on like whether it's zombies or whether it's witches or whether it's, whatever. I mean, I feel like we see that a lot in American Horror Story, obviously.
Yes, we do.
And American Horror Story, I will say, one of my, if not my favorite show of all time. I am absolutely obsessed with that show. Like, what was it like stepping into that world for Delicate?
For Delicates, okay, I will say it was actually pretty awesome. And now that I look back on it, the scenes that I were in, the crew and, the directors and the people that were on set, they really set up the space for it to feel like how it was actually going to feel in the script. Like how if that makes sense.
Yeah. So it didn't feel like you were just like on a soundstage kind of.
No, not at all. We were we were on location most of the time.
You creeped out at all?
Yeah. And I kind of liked it. I'm not going to even lie. Is that weird? Oh my God.
No. I think that's good. Like, you kind of want to be in the vibe. It's like you don't go to a haunted house and not want it to feel like a haunted house, you know?
You know, it's so funny too. It's crazy. Like, I feel like in those circumstances, I believe in all of that stuff, but I'm not shook by it at all. Like,
Hmm.
there's much more stupid things that I fear, like planes falling out of the sky, than a ghost like throwing something at me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, you're always afraid of what you don't understand, right? Like, that's the biggest fear of all. So if you feel like you understand it, then you
I
can't really be
do.
afraid of it.
So
So,
true. So
yeah.
true. Now, if they try to fight me, I'm beating that bitch up, okay? I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm a slice that hoe, whoever she is. Because don't try me, okay? Because I'm spiritually in tune to hoe. Okay, anyway, sorry, that was a sidetrack.
I believe you. I believe you. You know,
Seriously.
I will not have a ghost cross you.
Okay.
Um, so now we have a game to play, which is called
Yes.
Firsts and Favorites. So this is a
Okay.
series of questions about your first steps and your favorite moments in both music and acting. And if you don't know the answer or if you don't remember the answer, it's all good. We can just like move on. So the first question, please name the first artist that inspired you to make music.
Oh, okay. Michael Jackson for sure.
I love that. And next one is favorite artist at the moment.
My God. What am I playing a lot? I'm like going through my list in my head, like literally right now. And like, I'm like, who do I have on repeat? And there's so many people that I have on repeat, but there's also a rotation.
Right.
And who am I
Right.
playing more in that rotation, bitch?
You can throw out some contenders.
Okay, so contenders, Flow, I have been listening to on repeat.
Mm,
Victoria Monet, I've been
yes.
listening to on repeat.
Have you heard SOS with
Yes, with
Usher?
Usher.
So
Yes.
good.
Yes, it's so good. They are such a milky caramel freaking drink, all saturated up in a, damn it,
Buttery voices. I know what
buttery
you mean.
voices. Yes.
Yeah. It all just flows so well. All right. We have a couple more first and favorites. The next one is first acting role where you really felt like you've made it.
Oh, Pose for sure. Pose for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
And I would say
mean,
third season of Pose, definitely for sure.
wow. Yeah. I mean, a great season. I don't want to like put too many spoilers out there, but the next one is favorite acting role.
Oh, favorite acting role.
Whether that's because you liked playing them or because you like the character so much.
You know, I have to say my favorite acting role now that I look back, Carolyn from Tick Tick Boom. Like I like that she had this connection with Jonathan Larson, and I was
Mhm.
really, really happy that she got to like be there. She was present, or she was a figure of who Jonathan Larson spoke to at the time, and that really made me happy that he had those kind of core people there to really like have his friends. So yeah.
I love that so much. That was an unexpected answer, but I'm really a fan of that. My favorite is Sophia.
Oh, really?
Yes, from Loot. As soon as I think it was like the first scene you were in, or at least something in the first episode, where I was like, oh, this is my favorite new show. Like, because she's so mesmerizing, and like when you are on screen, she just feels so real and layered, especially for like an upbeat sitcom. Like, I feel like I know her in real life, and I'm struggling to imagine someone else playing her. Like, what was the audition process for that role, if there was one?
There was. I remember in the beginning, I had one audition, I think, with them, and they had already gone through a good amount of girls. It was like, I think 6 girls. And at the time, I didn't know if I was even qualified because I just was like, oh my God, I want to do comedy so bad, but I just don't know if I'm capable. Like, and I know the girls who were before me, like, they're comedy girls. Like, I know this for sure. So I didn't have any built up confidence, like how I had with Pose. Like, I knew, like, in my heart, I was going to get Pose. Even if I didn't, I was like, I know I'm going to get this. But with Loot, I didn't know. I was very, very, very nervous. So I had the audition with Alan Yang and Matthew Hubbard. And I remember it, for me, I felt it went well because I just landed the lines. Like, I was like, okay, I got the lines. Whew. I mean, I hope I acted my ass off. I practiced my butt, but like, I didn't think in the moment. I just went. Sometimes you black out
Yeah,
in those moments and you just go.
I know exactly what you mean.
Right?
Wish I
Oh,
didn't,
yeah,
but
you're
I
an
do.
artist. You know this. You
Yes.
understand this. You are.
Sometimes the adrenaline takes over, and it's not you; it's just the adrenaline.
Yes,
for a
it
little bit.
is.
Yes,
And sometimes it turns it, honey. Sometimes it gives you exactly what you need. Sometimes you don't. And you got to, learn from those experiences.
yes. There was one time I was performing at the House of Blues, and this
Mm-hmm.
was in Boston, and it was the biggest, because I think it's the biggest nightclub in America or something like that. Like, I think so. I think I read that somewhere. But anyway, it was the biggest show that I had played at that time. And
Mm-hmm.
I had just flown from Florida, where there was a hurricane,
Oh
to
Lord.
Boston, where there was a blizzard.
Oh God.
So yeah, and so obviously my plane got delayed by a day because of that. So I thought I was going to be late, and so I basically hopped right off the plane from this extremely warm weather to this extremely cold weather. And I know that you
No,
know that
I
that's going to
do.
kill your voice.
Yes, it does.
Yes. And so it was a recipe for disaster. We went to the sound check. I like couldn't sing anything. Then it ended up being vocally my best show ever because the adrenaline fully took over by the time the actual show kicked in.
That is exactly how it does. And I don't know what kind of adrenaline that is,
Mhm.
but it is the most exhilarating adrenaline. And then you sit there and you get out and you walk backstage and you say, bitch, do I have nodes? Do I have nodules?
Yeah. Yeah. Afterwards, you're like, let me check in with
Let
myself.
me check
Let me
in
check
and
in with my
see.
doctor.
Let me go to my ENT real quick and let her put that thing down there and let me see what's going on here. Oh, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Work. Good. Let's do this
Work.
again.
But I love that that adrenaline kicked in for you for the Loot audition. That's awesome.
Yes, it
Yeah.
really did, and I was happy about it. And it as the process goes, you have to wait a good while so they can make a decision and deliberate. Because I always know and believe that the girls that I was aligned with, they were outstanding and phenomenal. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So that's a
Yeah.
lot to really think about. And I was very, very surprised that out amongst the girls that went in for it, I was chosen. Honestly,
I'm curious now, like you mentioned that pose, you like knew you were gonna get that, or you were pretty sure at least. Why was that?
because I knew Blanca had resonated me with me so much. Like,
Mm.
and she was so close to who I was that everyone, even a lot of people, they're like, "That's you," and I'm like, "Well, yes, it is me because I have to put a little bit of me in it." And
Hmm.
but like Blanca, if we were growing up in the same time, you would have thought we were sisters. You would have thought we were twins, or because that's how similar and close we were. And I
Yeah.
knew that the moment I saw the breakdown. I didn't have scripts. I saw the breakdowns of all the girls, every last one of them. I knew I was an angel because I knew I wasn't young enough. She needed to be at least about like 17, 16. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And India was 19 at the time, I think. No, excuse me, she was 23 at the time, but that child, she never ages. So, um, but yeah, she was like 23 at the time. And I was like, in my head too, it's wild to know that Ryan cast her because that was the first idea in my head that who I thought of for that part.
Mm.
And then I saw Candy and Lulu, and I was like, I'm definitely not these girls. They don't resonate with me. These are totally different kinds of girls than I am. You know what I mean? I think,
Yeah.
clearly Electra, no one amounts to Electra. Thank you very much. Mother Electra, okay? Just let's be very clear. So Dominique fit that role
Yes.
perfectly, you know?
Yes.
So when I read Blanca, I was like, okay, this is where I fit in with the crew. Now, I didn't know about positions on the show or anything. I mean, I did see her at the
Hmm.
top, so I was like, she could possibly be number one, which sounds great, but we don't know. That could
Yeah.
change. And when I found out that she was number one, I was like, okay. So when I read the script, I was like, no, it makes sense why she's number one. She's the one who is helming the family. She's the one who's bringing everyone together. She is the one who is the heart. And if the core of the heart is gone, then and this doesn't have anything to do with Michaela. This has to do with the character. But when I saw that, it resonated with me because I was like, well, I like to think that I'm the heart of my family too. And if anything does happen to me, yes, things will shatter. You know what I mean? So I have to
Yeah.
make sure that I stay present and I stay vigilant and stay graced and prayed up and to be there for them. And when I saw those very, very strong similarities, I was like, I need this part. I know I'm going to get this part. It's too close to home.
Wow, I love that. And I love that you're the heart of your family too. Like, I feel like I'm the patient one in my family. Like, I wasn't even living in the US for like 7 years, and I wonder how they all survived without me, truly.
Hmm.
Just because they are a lot of big personalities all at once.
Yes.
So yeah, so with Pose, did the show creators like look to you to guide some of the elements of the storyline or the characters as the seasons progressed?
But yeah, we collaborated a lot on that show.
I
A
love that.
lot
I
on
love
that
that.
show. We were very vocal, but not vocal in the ways where we were like, this has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan would ask, how would this happen? Steven Canals would ask, how do you feel comfortable doing the scene? What are the things you need? Everyone was collaborative. The actors were collaborative. It was
Mm.
definitely a vigorous process because, Ryan Murphy shows, if it's quality, honey, it's time and it's effort and it's a lot of work and you have to be
Yes.
prepared for that. But like, well, shit, baby, I was built for this shit. So I was ready for it, honey. I was like, give me more, honey, like candy. But like throughout everything, it was such a beautiful process. Like that's why it became, I feel, the phenomenon that it became because
Mm-hmm.
everyone was very instrumental in how we wanted it to succeed and for the story to be told like how it needed to be told.
That's awesome. That is amazing. I want to go into so much with that, but I know that we have to like stick to the script a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to go back to the first and favorites. The next one is first album you ever bought.
Oh my God, Cher.
Cher? Which one?
Believe. Oh, the story of that. I thought I had $27 and all I had was $20.07. What a shame. I was young as hell and, math was hard, bitch. That's all I'm going to say.
So then what's your favorite album of all time?
Oh, Off the Wall, Michael Jackson.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And now I want to dip a little bit into your album.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you came out of the gate swinging with this multi-genre concept album as your debut.
Thank you.
A gift. What a treat. Your vocal tone on this record in particular is giving me some Mary J. Blige. Was she an inspiration?
You really think so, huh?
Oh, yes. The vocal tone, some of the runs. Because, like, My Life is one of my favorite albums of all time. Like, that's top 10. Absolutely.
Oh, Get Out? Okay.
Yeah.
See, this makes me happy that you know about Mary J. because she's been here.
And she does not get the respect she deserves.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, so the rhythm is like Michael Jackson. The vocals are like Mary J. Blige. So it's like Mary J. plus Michael J. equals Michaela J. Like it's MJ City.
You know what? I'll take it. I will take it.
That I like didn't even do that because they were both MJs. It just naturally I was like, that feels like that works. And they just happen to also have the name kind of matched together.
Meshed together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I love the allegorical concept for the album. Like alien themes and visuals are always so like fun to play around with. For anyone who has no idea what I'm talking about though, can you explain it a bit and how it relates to your own journey?
Okay, so the story of Michaela Jaé and Michaela Jaé 33F7 is, wasting my time. If we can go through the whole thing. Snow Globe was a song that we wrote. Mm-hmm. And Snow Globe is literally kind of the prelude to what happens in Wasting My Time.
Yeah.
Snow Globe, she burns down her boyfriend's house. And then Wasting My Time, Michaela Jaé is like witnessing the story still playing because she's still famous in this life and people still know her. So the story of the burning of her boyfriend's house is still playing on the news and she's watching it as Wasting My Time is happening. And she goes through the song and at the end of Wasting My Time, she's like captured by like this kind of alien force in the present day. And before she gets shot in the head, square right between the eyes, which is very sad. But the man pulls his mask and it's her ex, her boyfriend, and he shoots her dead. And when you go into Black Void, that's the moment where she goes into her spiritual self, the essence of herself, trying to figure out why, where, who, when, what, how. And when she comes to that understanding at the very end of Black Void, she's shot back into a world that she thinks she knows but doesn't understand at all. And instead, she wakes up in green lights to see that she's being built upon with no recollection of her past, no understanding of who she is, except that she knows the only thing she has is maybe a soul and the shell of who she used to be. Through the whole album, All Mine and Why, which she questions herself, in A Storm Brews, where she breaks down and tries to pick herself out, and then to I Am, where she rebuilds herself. All of this is her recollecting herself and who she is and remembering who she once used to be. And by the time we get to start it from, she's having this resurgence moment of understanding where she came from, where she started from. That's why we get hints of funk in the album and in the song, that single alone, because I wanted people to hear the pop, but I wanted to hear the references of what I've learned and the people who I surrounded myself around. And at the end, which is forever, the finale, it's just kind of a full circle of now she knows who she was and who she is in this new world, this dystopian, techno, kind of like Tokyo kind of technological world. And she realizes that though she can't escape it, this is her reality now.
Mhm.
She's influenced a lot of people in forever, and she'll do her best to never leave them and try her best not to lead them astray. And within doing that, I feel like that's her always relaying back to me. You asked me, how does it relate to me?
Mhm.
And I feel like that's what her message is to me. I said earlier, I feel like she's an entity that's just saying to me, girl, there's something much bigger, and this is your job. And this is what the future is telling me. This is how it had all happened. This is how it went down. And this is how I came from the ashes. I burned out and I rose from the ashes. And you can too, but you have to do it this way. You have to perform it. You have to sing it, because sometimes people don't listen to your words,
Mm.
especially who you are. And it's funny how I was like receiving this, because I'm like, well, I created this persona as like a robot. So how do you relate to me as a trans woman? And then, oh snap, of course you relate to me as a trans woman, because you're different too,
Mm.
you know? So that was how I felt like she related to me. And she's always on my shoulder. She's always talking to me. She's always giving me very, very crucial information about the world and how I need to influence it. So that's what this album is. That's what 33 is, all in a whole, conceptually.
You can't help it. You're just a storyteller.
Thank you.
Whether it's acting or music. And then the interludes are quite fun too, because I feel like they really play into that storytelling aspect. What was making those like? And like, were there originally more interludes that were cut for the album?
There were more interludes that I wanted to do. I wanted to, create more of the
Mhm.
stories so people could maybe understand it, but they are understanding it now, which is dope. I did not expect
Love
that.
that.
But yeah, when I was creating them, I wanted people to hear what went down before everything changed.
Mhm.
In the second interlude, I wanted people to hear what she had gone through and where she was about to go. And for Black Void, I remember being in the studio with Micah and telling him I wanted to sound like she was just at a concert. And after being at her house, her friends pull her out of the house and they tell her like, "Oh, bitch, you got a concert. Like, did you not forget you're in this trance looking at this news? Like, get out of the news. Like, we
Mhm.
have to go on stage." And I wanted people, when they heard Black Void, to hear like her finishing up a concert and her being kidnapped while the concert is going on. And I
Mm.
wanted them to hear the gunshot when she was killed. I wanted them to hear the transition between her going from death to being reborn and then having another life again.
Mm.
For the interlude, A Storm is Brewing, at this point, she's gone through a lot. Like, she's just been built on. She ran away and went to another place. And there was like a shootout there in this place that she thought she found refuge in. And then she leaves and is in the rain while Y is playing, and you hear Y happening. At the end of Y, when Storm Bruce comes in, you realize that she's gone through so much. Like, there's definitely going to be a breaking point, and I wanted them to see the breaking point. I wanted them to hear the hymns of Y that we created. We really actually, I told Mike, I was like, I want these to be like my vocals. I don't want it to be pitched up. And he was like, no, it has to be pitched up because it's gonna add to the effect. And I was like, okay, fine. Let's hear what it's like pitched up. And I was like, you're right. Damn it.
Oh,
It's good.
it always feels so good to be wrong, but in the favor of the music. You know what I mean? When you're like,
Yes.
oh, thank God I wasn't
Yes.
stubborn on that.
Yes. Well, that's the best part about
Yeah.
being collabs. Like, I just love the people I collaborate with because we're so free with our ideas.
Yeah.
But yeah, that moment I wanted the hymns to be something that are on repeat for people to hear
Mhm.
her sorrow.
I love this like very vivid vision that you have.
I've been having it for 6 years. Like, this vision has been
love
happening
that.
for 6 years. And listen, I'm an independent artist,
Mhm.
so I'm trying my best to make it all happen. But I hope people are willing to wait to get the visuals of it whenever they come. They will come too, because a bitch ain't trying to hold off on visuals too long.
I'm loving the visuals we have so far. Now we've come to the last part of our show. I can't believe it's already been a whole show, but this is our top 5. So this is where we list our top 5 of a certain category, and this episode's theme is our top 5 movie musicals.
Yes.
I would love to end on your list if
Okay,
that'd be
okay,
great.
okay.
And because there's only 2 of
That's
us,
cool.
I guess I'll go first.
Cool.
Number 5 for me is going to be Hairspray, just because I thought this was like, I think it was really just about the time that it came out. Like, Hairspray, there's a lot of layers to it,
Yes.
to unpack now. But back in, you know, when I was, like, a kid and this came out, I was like, Amanda Bynes, John Travolta, Zac Efron, whatever. And so I think it's just really, it's a nostalgic film for me. And you put bright colors in front of me and I'm just gonna clap and applaud.
Oh my God. Like, it's stimulation.
Yes.
Hello.
Anyway, so number 4 is...
Wait, can I do a little plug?
Oh, yeah,
you wouldn't
go for
believe
it.
this. So I went to the premiere when I was younger, and I met all of them when I was younger at New Jersey Performing Arts Center. Queen Latifah, Zac Efron, all of them. It was kind of wild. So yeah, that's kind of crazy that that's your favorite because it's mine too.
Hell yeah. So yeah, Taylor Parks was Lily Nez. She was just on the show recently. We started talking about Hairspray. Anyway, my number 4 is Into the Woods.
Oh, okay.
Because something about this soundtrack, I played it like it was an album. Like, and I know that, like, yeah, a lot of people do that with musical soundtracks, and, like, sometimes I do, right? But, like, when I say that, like, I listen to individual songs, mix them in with my pop music or my soul music or whatever, like, I don't know why, it really stuck for me that year that it came out. I thought everything was just so incredible, and it was one of Sondheim's, like, last projects of his life, so it was just, if not the last one, I'm not actually sure, but yeah, just so incredible that he himself, like, worked on it and reworked On the Steps of the Palace with Anna Kendrick, and, like, rewriting that song for the movie. And it's just incredible, and I feel like perfectly cast. Number 3 would be Rock of Ages. This is a show where, you know, like, like Dream Roll, right? Like, Dream Roll would be, like, something in my number 1 slot, or Drew in Rock of Ages. I really want a Rock of Ages TV show. Like, I would love this to just be drawn out through, like, I feel like Ryan Murphy could probably just...
He probably would.
Like, he could get Miley Cyrus in it, you know.
Oh my God.
Like, Harry Styles, whoever. Fergie, I would love to see Fergie as the Catherine Zeta-Jones character. We got to bring back Mary. This is when I fell in love with Mary all over again, because she was in this movie, and I was just like, oh. And she grew up on Led Zeppelin. She loves rock music, so it's just, I thought it was perfect that you had all these, like, a country singer, you had, like, a Latin pop singer, you had an R&B singer, you had them all singing rock music. Like, it was just it was just cool. And then number 2 is High School Musical.
No way.
Yeah, just because, I mean, again, super nostalgic, but also it's like, it's one of those films that, like, I will be showing my kids this film. You know what I mean? Like, it is an absolute bona fide classic of a teen film, of a musical, and being the bisexual I am, it's like, that was... having a crush on Ashley Tisdale and Zac Efron at the same time, I was like, oh gosh, what am I going to do with myself? And then my number 1 is, and I didn't put this on my number 1 slot because you are on the podcast. I only realized the connection afterwards. It's Rent. Rent is just, like, my babysitter, I remember when I was way too young to be listening to these songs, would put it on in the car, and I would have no idea what baggage they were talking about, or
oh my God, can you believe that?
Or what anything meant, but especially, like, Angel.
Me either.
Yeah, but especially, like, Angel, that character, I remember just, like, I had no concept of genders outside of the binary when I was a kid, so it really was just a wonderful introduction that, as a kid, it's so great. You just, like, accept things, right? They're on screen and you're like, yep, I accept it. So it's just, I'm so grateful that, like, I got to have such a queer, friendly, and forward film to be, like, the thing I was obsessed with as a kid. And that was, like, you know, it's something that I get to learn a little bit more about and realize a little bit more about every time I rewatch it. So that is my number 1.
Okay, so I will say my number 5, crazy enough, I think we're going to have one that's the same, which is Rock of Ages.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, I love this.
I had Any Way You Wanted, That's the Way You Needed on repeat.
Yes.
That version.
Yes.
Because it was so, so good. I thought Tom Cruise was fantastic in that too.
Yeah.
When he said, "You're fired," I was just like, ooh, that shook me. That shook me. And he knew why he was fired, because he messed up tremendously.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, really, I really, really enjoyed that show. And I also thought it was a little cheeky, which, you know, it doesn't hurt to be cheeky and a little camp.
Yeah. I saw it on Broadway too. It was so good.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
With
with who?
all the like rock stars. They had like Twisted Sister in there and everything too.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's awesome.
See, that's when you know it's a good show, and it's like that's when it turns from a Broadway show to like a concert, like I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like a concert mixed with a musical.
Yes. Yeah, a jukebox musical, right?
Hmm.
Like, but it's even another layer to that because you have real rock stars on stage singing these songs. It's
This
crazy.
is
Yeah.
true. Oh, we have two in common actually.
Oh, okay.
Rent is my number 4
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
because I mean it's obviously embedded in my life. Jonathan Larson is always like just deep in my heart, and I'm glad he took like he went out on a limb
Hmm.
to tell the story when it was a play, excuse me, a musical. And I'm so glad that everyone, Michael Greif, Jeffrey Seller, Kevin McCullum, all of them, like they rallied together to put a movie together because they know people wanted it. And it was really great. And and it's crazy. Now I know some of those people from the movie. It's so wild to even think my life has changed like that, to know Tracy Toms and like we're really close.
Love that.
Hey Trace, I love you, girl. My number 3 is Hair the Musical.
Hair.
Honey,
Close the Hairspray, but
Mel,
completely different in concept.
totally different. You know,
I
hippie
love
liberation,
that
baby.
song. I love the title track of Hair.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
When I loved Nell Carter, she was just like the epitome of like strong, gusto, black singing woman. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
She held her own. She was so like influential in the musical theater world at that time. But also the story of Hair,
Mhm.
just every different kind of aspect of it politically and, you know, racially.
Mhm.
And it was just so it was stimulating to me. And I was like, oh, I wish I could have lived in that time. Like, I know it was crazy as shit, but I know it's not as crazy as it is now.
Yeah.
So the fight would have felt even more like worthy,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Number 2 is Dreamgirls.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad someone said it.
Yes, because I thought in my heart that each and every last one of those 3 girls ate that role up. Anyone talking BS about Beyonce needs to sit their ass down because I don't care how much you considered her close to the character because yes, that is her archetype. Diana Ross is very much Diana Ross was the Beyonce of her time. Beyonce is the Diana Ross of our time. It's the same trajectory, but they are 2 different women. And I think the reason why it was easy for both of these women, right, to captivate that because they know what all kinds of starlets like that look like.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They know what that encompasses. And I think Beyonce encompassed Dina so well. And I felt for her in this movie. You know what I mean? I was like, oh
Mhm.
my God, like I can actually separate her for once. You know what I mean? And it's hard because it's hard. She's Beyonce, honey. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But
Yeah.
like,
I mean, that's what I'm hoping to see with Wicked. I'm hoping that I can just like forget that that's Ariana Grande right in front of me. You know what I mean?
you will.
Yeah.
You
Oh, I
will.
already know I
promise
will.
you.
I'm so excited.
I promise you. I'm so excited too. One of my good friends, Cynthia Ariel, is in it, and
I
I am rooting.
am so excited for her performance. You have
Me
no
too.
idea.
I'm not even just excited for her performance. I'm excited for her, like her burst of stardom. I told her this.
Yes.
I was like, girl, you just don't know. You really don't know. Like Wicked is that show. Like, or if you do know, you are keeping it in and you are just a graceful bitch. And I love it. Like I'm so proud of her. And I cannot wait until I see her murder it, as well as Ari. Ari's gonna do it. We already know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, she's been here, but I don't think we've gotten to see Cynthia in this light as a superhero villain, villain hero.
Yeah. Anti-hero?
Heroine. Oh, anti-hero, yeah. Okay, and my number 1. Okay. And I'm holding this against you because how dare you forget this? No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm
I
kidding.
only have 5 slots, okay?
This is true. This is true because we could go on for days.
Yeah.
Okay, number 1 drum roll is Chicago.
Chicago's amazing. Yeah, another Catherine Zeta-Jones classic.
Oh my God.
So you have 2 of those in there. That's great.
Yes, I thought Chicago was so well done. They really painted the story of it beautifully. Like you don't see that on the stage in the musical,
Yeah.
so you have to imagine that. You know what I mean? And they create the world, so it's not that hard to imagine it. But when you have the physicality of it all there,
Yeah.
and then sick ass actresses like Catherine Zeta-Jones and Renee Zellweger,
Yeah.
like when you have those 2 outstanding actresses just like playing off of each other, it's pure magic. Oh, and Queen Latifah, yet again,
Yes,
another one.
yet
You know?
another Queen Latifah joint. You know, honestly,
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna watch that tonight because now you got me all
You
excited.
should. Yes, it is so good. Me and my boyfriend watched it and we were like, oh snap, this is actually freaking good.
Yeah. That is our top 5. Thank you so much for being on the show. I had
Of course.
so much fun laughing with you on this. This was
Same here.
amazing. The album is great. Everyone who's listening to this, please go check it out. Please, if you haven't already. And yeah, thank you so much for being on the show. I really love this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I love this too. It's so dope.